Mic check. Shalom, Israel. We'll be getting started in a moment. Um, I was told that sometimes my class sits on silent for a minute and people are trying to figure out what's going on now. So I'm letting you guys know from now on. We're going to get started in a moment. You guys are going to watch us up here as we setting up a little bit. Give us about 3 to 5 minutes and the class will begin. They have like some type of binding rule to that. I'm like, bro, you can buy a new one. I don't know why you not. Like, I have no clue. I have no clue what, like, it must mean something. I don't know. Because y'all know that I'm a beer life. That was mind blowing. I didn't expect that. I just mean you need to read your Bible, man. You gotta read your Bible. No, you'd have to go look it up. Bro, how we know? I ain't got the slightest idea. I hit him up earlier. He never even texted me back. I don't know. I made up odds. He be having. Nah. So you sure you ain't heard from him? Mic check, mic check. All right, we got sound. All praises. So Shalom Israel, we back at it again with another segment of Sound Doctrine. Part 2 tonight of Through Torah, the 10 Commandments. So last week we only made it through the first 5 commandments. Tonight may or may not be a little faster or maybe finished a little quicker, a little sooner, because the last 5 commandments, I think, are pretty straightforward. We may or may not go crazy in detail. We're just going to see where the Spirit leads us. But pray to the Most High that the lesson is edifying. We pray that you get a stronger understanding and a stronger foundation of what the 10 commandments actually are. You guys already know the deal. We're going to open up with my first 2 scriptures. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs first. Let me do this. Chapter 4 and verse 2 when you got it.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 2. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law.
For I give you good doctrine, do not forsake my law. That is the main purpose of this entire book, is to tell you, 1, who you are, 2, your history and what has gone on, and 3, how to get back in good standing with the Most High, how to get this kingdom back. And all through the scriptures, it says, come back to me, obey me, keep my commandments, keep the law. That is the good doctrine. That is the good teaching. And for those that teach otherwise, you are teaching contrary to God. For those that are teaching otherwise, you are blaspheming the word of God. You are slandering the word of God. Christ literally died so you would have the ability to repent when you sin, which is transgress the law of God. So by you saying we no longer have to keep these laws, you're saying Christ died for no reason, because I'm just going to continue to sin and it should be all good. That's a problem, right? For those that also talk about, the 10 commandments, the Old Testament, we don't keep the 10 commandments anymore. We showed you last week, and we're going to continue to show you this week, why the 10 commandments still stand. And the crazy part is the 10 commandments is an umbrella for the rest of the laws. Thou shalt not steal. There's levels of stealing. There's different types of stealing. Thou shalt not kill. There's different types of killing. Idolatry and things of that nature. It's all an umbrella term for everything that falls under that particular topic, right? So to say that these laws are done away with is just beyond me. To live in a lawless society when God is not the author of confusion, to live in that type of confusion, when God is the author of righteousness and order, to live in a state of chaos, disorder, and sin, it doesn't make sense. But when you live in Babylon, I guess it does, right? So I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law. Now let's hit that 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 4. And we're going to read verse 3.
2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teaching having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned into fables.
It said that this time would come. This time is now. A lot of people are in this space now where we justify doing wrong, where we justify sin, where we justify not keeping the laws, where we justify bending the laws. All of that stuff is today. All of that stuff is now. All of that is here. So it's the conditions that we're in, the lack of faith that a lot of people have, the lack of understanding that a lot of people have, that oftentimes comes from a lack of fear of the Most High, a lack of obedience to the Most High. So that's what sound doctrine is all about, giving people that solid understanding so we can truly come back to the understanding of what the Most High requires of us, right? So last week was through Torah, the 10 Commandments. This week is through Torah, the 10 Commandments, part 2. So we went through we went through commandments 1 through 5 last week. This week we picking up from 6. We're going to do 6 through 10. So Exodus chapter 20. And let's start at verse 13. Verse 13.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 13. Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill. Now, here's the crazy part, right? A lot of people don't truly understand what thou shalt not kill means. I've seen people that are even Israelites in the faith that have a misunderstanding of this. Oh, thou shalt not kill. That's some people use this to defend their vegan doctrine. Thou shalt not kill. You're not supposed to kill animals. So why are you killing animals when that's against the commandment? That's not true. Someone murdered a close family member or your child. Oh, you just gotta forgive. It's okay. You're not supposed to. No, the scriptures are very specific. In the Hebrew, there are more than one word for kill, right? Thou shalt not kill right here is different from, watch this. Go to stay in Exodus 22, Exodus 12. Go to Exodus 12, Salakia. And let's read verse 21. Commandments say, thou shalt not kill, right? Watch this.
Exodus chapter 12, and verse 21. Then Moses called for all elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
And do what?
And kill the Passover.
And kill the Passover. But the scriptures say thou shalt not kill. But now we have to kill something. We got to kill the Passover, but we're not supposed to kill. Like, this is what goes on in certain people's minds, and this is how they run into these issues in the scriptures, these quote-unquote contradictions in the scriptures, right? It's really just a lack of understanding. Go to, watch this, go to Exodus 22. Exodus 22 and verse 1.
The book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 1. If a man should steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox.
So if a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it and sell it, right, it expresses to you what the penalty for that would be. But here's the thing. All of those scriptures that you just read, actually, let's get one more. Leviticus 20. Leviticus 20. And let's read verse 16. Leviticus 20 and verse 16.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 16. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman.
Thou shalt do what?
Thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Right. So now we done seen a couple of places. The commandment says don't kill, but then we done seen a couple of places where we're told to kill. Right?
You got a righteous kill and an unrighteous kill?
Something like that. Something to that effect, right? So let's go back to Exodus. I'm going to show you something. Exodus 20. Let's read that again, verse 14. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 14.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Salakia, 20 and 13.
Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill, right? Thou shalt not kill. That word in Hebrew is ratazak. So that line, thou shalt not kill, says la'a ratazak. La'a ratazak, right? Which means no kill. Now that particular word there is not kill. It's murder. Ratazak or ratazak from H7523, to murder, to slay, to murder premeditated or accidental. That's called manslaughter. A slayer, to be slain, to assassinate, to be killed, right? That is the biblical usage. Now, the actual definition, a primitive root, to dash in pieces, to kill a human being, especially to murder, to put to death, to kill a man, or to slay. That is when it says thou shalt not kill, it's telling you thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit murder. Thou shalt not kill someone unjustifiably and someone who is innocent. That's what it's telling you not to do. Do not commit murder, right? Now, let's go back to Exodus 22 and verse 1 and read that again.
Exodus 22 and verse 1.
God. So we can get the different understandings and definitions of these words because it matters, right? To really understand what thou shalt not kill looks like. Exodus 22 and verse 1. Read that.
If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it,
read.
Or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox.
Now, Exodus 22 and 1. If a man shall steal an ox and kill it, that word there is tabah, which means to butcher or to slaughter. So, you know, when we talk about, oh, you go into the slaughterhouse, or you're going to slaughter the lamb, or you're going to slaughter the cow, you're going to butcher it. That's that word. But here it says kill. Hebrew, it has a completely different word, right? Exodus 12. Let's back up to Exodus 12 and 21.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 21.
Go ahead.
Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
So, kill the Passover. That word kill is shachat. Shachat from H7819. To slaughter a beast for food, to sacrifice of a human sacrifice, to be slaughtered, to be slain of food or sacrifice, to slaughter in sacrifice or massacre, to kill, offer, or shoot out, to slay or slaughter. That particular word is utilized for slaughtering for sacrifice, right? So that word is shachat. That's to slaughter for sacrifice. Tabah is to butcher. Ratazach is to murder. These are all different words. So thou shalt not kill is saying thou shalt not murder. You shall not kill someone unjustifiably. You shall not kill someone who is innocent. That's what that's telling you not to do, right? Leviticus. Did I write the Leviticus 20?
Leviticus 20.
Let me pull this up real quick.
I sent it on the screen.
No, you can scoot to your left a little bit. Closer to me. No, you good. Leviticus 20.
20 and what?
Verse 16.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 16.
Come on.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Is that 20 and Leviticus 20?
He said,
Leviticus 20 and 16?
Yeah, it's a little different.
God. The book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 16. Read that when you got it.
It's like here. The book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast.
Right.
Thou shalt surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
So that word is harag. Harag. To slay or to destroy, right? To smite with deadly intent. To destroy out of the hand. To kill or to put to death. So what it's saying is that's you will see that word usually when we're talking about judgment. Oh, if a man lays with another man's wife, they shall be harag. They shall be put to death. They shall be slain. But thou shalt kill them, right? But it's referencing a judgment. This is a righteous destruction, right? This is a righteous reason to put somebody away or put someone to death. That's what it's telling you. So there's different levels, different words, different definitions of these words. You have to butcher. You have to sacrifice. You have in judgment. You have murder, right? And I think it's actually one more. I believe it's 4 or 5 different words that when you read it in the scriptures, it'll just say kill. That's why it's important to understand even the Hebrew, because a lot of people will build their understandings, which is not always wrong, but there's a reason that Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, or excuse me, the prologue of Ecclesiasticus said what it said. It said there is no small difference between the original language and when it's translated in a different language. What that's saying is you'll get a much stronger understanding if you can understand what was written in the original language. English it's watered down because there's certain words in Hebrew you don't have in English. There's certain things you cannot translate. So it would behoove us to gain a foundation, because the English will give you a foundation, but to gain a stronger understanding, start to try to understand what was written in the original language, right? So thou shalt not kill is referencing murder specifically. Thou shalt not commit murder, right? Also, let's go to 1 John, because this is also something to take into consideration. Because the judgment for murder was somebody would be put to death. And an individual who is a murderer will not make the kingdom, right? But watch this. Before I forget, let's hit this real quick, and then we're going to move on. 1 John chapter 3 and verse, I think it's 12.
You said 3 and 12?
Yeah, I think it's 3 and 12. Let me see. 3 and 15, Salakia. 1 John 3 and 15.
1 John, this is the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
Whosoever hateth his brother, what?
Is a murderer.
Is a murderer. If you hate your brother, you are a murderer. Okay, let me show you something. Go to Leviticus. Let's talk about this hatred.
1917?
Yep. Is it? Yeah. 1917. Watch this. Whosoever hateth their brother is a murderer.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart. Of course, it's talking about hatred to the point of, wanting ill intents behind them. But this is another form of hatred that a lot of people don't understand, and a lot of people don't recognize what they feel like is love at times is hatred. Right? You got brothers and sisters that are in this walk that won't correct something that is sin because, that's my boy, man. He'll get it together. Oh, that's my boy, man. I don't really want to do it because, that's just how he is. That's hatred. It said if you're not correcting your brothers and your sisters in this walk, you hate them. If you're not stopping them from suffering sin upon themselves, if you're not checking them and telling them, hey, no, we going the wrong way, you need to come back to the Most High and choose life. If you're not doing that, that's hatred. And it said any individual that hates their brother is a murderer. That's not just I see you going the wrong way and I hate you and I want you to be judged and I want this to happen to you. That's not just that. That is it, but that's not just that. It's even those that you would think love you. People look at love as just an emotion. People forget that love is also an action.
Yeah, and if you don't correct them, you're guilty just like that.
And you'll be guilty too. But the thing is, is blood on your hands because you didn't correct them, but it's also blood on your hands because it's the same as murder. Why? Because you're allowing them to destroy themselves. You didn't try to help them. You didn't try to check them. You didn't try to save them. That is murder. You're allowing this soul to be put to death on your watch when you could have saved them. He that hates his brother is a murderer. He that hates his brother has broken this particular commandment of thou shalt not kill. You are the same and you are guilty of the exact same thing, right? Let's read on. Verse 14.
Thou shalt not curse the deaf. You want me to go
I'm sorry. Exodus. My bad. We back in the commandments. That's on me. Exodus 20 and verse 14.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 14. thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, a lot of people get adultery confused, and I couldn't tell you if it was intentional or not. I do know some people teach this, they don't understand it. Some people have teachers that teach it wrong. Some people have teachers that have their own doctrines and understandings, and so they push it in a way that that's not what the scriptures say. Right?
So is it two different types of adultery? Is it more than one?
No, adultery is adultery. The problem is people don't understand what adultery actually is.
Okay.
So what exactly is adultery? Physical adultery is a man, listen to what I'm saying, a man sleeping with a married woman, or a married woman sleeping with a man, whether single or married. Now, why is that important? Because what happens is people misconstrue the definition of adultery. If you're married to a woman as a man and you go and lay with another woman, that is not adultery. You now have two wives. Now, if you lay with that woman with no intent of performing your husbandly duties, you're a whoremonger, a fornicator. That's not adultery. But a lot of people say, oh, that's adultery. No, that's a whoremonger. That is a fornicator. That's not adultery. I'll say it again. Adultery is a married woman sleeping with a man, whether that man be single or married. Adultery is a man sleeping with a married woman. If a man has a wife and sleeps with an unmarried woman, that's called polygyny. If a man who is married and sleeps with another woman and decides he doesn't want to deal with that woman or take care of that woman, that's called a whoremonger and a fornicator. Now, why is that important? Because, again, certain congregations, certain people teach that, no, that is adultery. No, it's not. That's not adultery. And certain sisters, if they feel like, well, I didn't want him to do that, so because he didn't get my permission, he's now a fornicator or an adulterer. No, he's not. That's not adultery. Adultery is a man sleeping with a married woman. That is, for a man to commit adultery, the woman has to be married. For a woman to commit adultery, she has to be married. And it don't matter if she lay with a single man or a married man, she is an adulteress. For a married man to lay with a single woman is not adultery. For a single man to lay with a single woman is not adultery. The woman has to be married. That is the primary factor of adultery. The woman must be married. Right? Go to Leviticus 18 and verse 20.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her.
It says, moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife. What does that mean?
Physically.
To be physically laying down intimately with another man's wife, having sex with another man's wife. And the brother Adama, he's right. Or even if the sister's betrothed. If the sister's betrothed and you lay with her, it's the same as if she was married. So that's a great point. And we read that in the book of Deuteronomy. So that is also adultery.
Yes,
you are to be put to death for that.
Yeah, a woman is not betrothed.
A woman that is not betrothed or married. It says, moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. Lie sexually with your neighbor's wife to defile yourself with her. That is against the commandments. That is what adultery is: lying sexually with your neighbor, your brother's wife, with a married woman. Stay in Leviticus. Let's go to chapter 20. Stay in Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 10.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife.
Read that again.
And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife.
The man that committeth adultery with what?
Another man's wife.
Now you see, they keep saying that. If the woman is married or betrothed, that's when it is adultery. The man that commits adultery with another man's wife, the man that lays down sexually with another man's wife, also known as adultery, read.
Even that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress.
Read that from the top.
And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with the neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. That is the judgment of it. That is the judgment of it. Now, this is where people get things confused, because we're talking about adultery right now, right? Go to Deuteronomy 24. Because people be like, oh, she slept with another dude, that's the bill of divorce comes into play. No, that's where the stones off the ground come into play. Deuteronomy 24 is something different. And a lot of people have a misconception of how Deuteronomy 24 is used, because there's levels to fornication. As much as people don't understand that, there's levels to it. There's actual like sexual immorality. There's things like, phone sex, sexting. All of these things are forms of fornication. Back then it was seductive dancing, being physically intimate, but we never had sex completely, right? These are different ways of fornication, but not completely adultery. They were sexual acts, but it was not sex, right? So a lot of people get confused because they're like, oh, a chick commits adultery, and they're like, oh, it's a bill of divorce. She can go, because remember, it says she can go be another man's wife. No, an adulteress is supposed to be done. Deuteronomy 24 is something a little different. Let's read it. Deuteronomy chapter 24, and let's read verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. When a man has taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house.
Right. So it says, when a man takes a wife and married her, so he lay with this woman, he married her, and now she has no favor in his eyes because he found some sort of uncleanness. Some people take that as anything that he doesn't like in her. No, because Christ came and he cleared that up. Watch this. She find no favor, his eyes, uncleanness. Here it is. Wait, uncleanness. Arva. Nakedness, nudity, shame, pudenda. Pudenda is the private parts, implying shameful exposure. Nakedness of a thing, indecency, or improper behavior. Exposed, undefended. Nudity, literally, especially the pudenda, or figuratively, disgrace, blemish, nakedness, shame, uncleanness. And some people are like, boy, it's talking about a shame or a blemish. No, it's not. Not in this particular scripture. No, it's not. Because the only time you can end a union is when somebody has defiled the bed, or is defiling your spirit, or has defiled your spirit. So it's not because she yelled at you. It's not because she burns her food. It's not because she argues. No. This particular scripture of divorce is talking about something that she did in her past. So let's say you marry a sister, to give the idea of what's going on here. Let's say you marry a sister. This sister's supposed to be clean, right? She ain't ever dealt with nobody. From what you understand, she good. And they come out After y'all laid down, consummated, got married, it come out that, well, yeah, technically she ain't sleep with nobody, but she done put her mouth on a few things. That's an uncleanness. You can put her away for that. Like, wait a minute. Or let's find out, come to find out, oh, she been texting this person and texting that person. Because here's the thing. You have some congregations that teach these things are okay. It's technically, they ain't consummated. No harm, no foul. That's fornication. That's fornication. Now, when a man marries her and finds this out and he writes her a bill of divorce, it's your fault for teaching that this was okay. That's fornication. Or let's say a brother gets married and they come to find out, she was sending pictures to another brother before they got together and he done seen all of her goodies and all of her what's supposed to be just for you. You find that out if you choose to. You put her away. If you choose to, you put her away. Now, if she actually fornicated and slept with another guy, if she actually did that while you guys are married and defiled your bed, she got to go. In this world, we ain't, or, here, we ain't allowed to pick up cinder blocks and hit them. But... you talking about if she stepped out? Absolutely, she got to go. She got to go. Because now, if you lay down with an adulteress, what are you? Right? But again, that's different from Deuteronomy 24. Deuteronomy 24 is fornication. If a sister is, and now here's the thing too, because people like to toe the line. If a sister is texting inappropriately to her brother, ain't seen no pictures of none, but you read them text messages like, this is erotic and inappropriate. That's grounds for this too. She flirting with other brothers. She's saying, oh, I want you to do this. I could do this. I could do that. She ain't sent no pictures, ain't no videos, none of that. But that's still grounds for this. But it's not adultery. And I'm going to tell you why one more time. Adultery is when a man lays down with a married woman. Or when a married woman lays down with a man, whether single or married. Or betrothed or engaged, which is technically married according to the law. What is a whoremonger? A whoremonger is an individual who's just going around sleeping around. When you hear about people, oh, this brother just, laying with these women and ain't trying to take care of them, da-da-da. Oh, he's a fornicator? He's a whoremonger. He's a whoremonger. That's what it is. That use a hoe. That's what it is. A Rolling Stone. Use a hoe is what it was. No, yeah. So let me do this real quick. Let me see something. Is it in 6 and 9? No, it's not in 6 and 9, huh?
With the whoremonger?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm tripping. Go to go ahead and pull that up. If not, go to 1 Corinthians 5.
Which one we go?
If it's not 6 and 9, go to 5. Go ahead.
The book of Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 9.
1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Go ahead.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit?
Why you always forgetting your mic is the real question.
You just had to tell me one more time, man. Yeah, I was right there.
Oh,
Shalaki,
man, he got excited.
Man, for real. He had to bring me back down like, nah, bro. Not.
Right. Jake forgot.
Man.
Jesus.
All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Mm-hmm. But be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioner shall inherit the kingdom of God.
You got excited and you go to chapter 5. This is actually perfect though. Go to chapter 5. I'm glad that you went here, right? So 1 Corinthians 6:9, neither fornicators, the word for, which is ironic. This is why these individuals are the devil that the Bible speaks of. Can you guess the word for fornicator? The Greek word for it? Take a guess. No, what is the actual Greek word for it? It's something that people watch a lot and are addicted to. Pornos. That's the name of the Greek word for fornicator is pornos. The Greek word G, let me get you the number. G4205, pornos. A man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire, a male prostitute, a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. Now this is fornicators. That's 1 Corinthians 6:9, right? The definition, akin to the base G4097, a male prostitute as venal, by analogy, a debauchee, somebody who indulges in debauchery. A fornicator, a whoremonger, right? So all them people that like them, orgies and threesomes and men that just like to sleep around. This is you, which is ironic because in the world, when you, I want to make sure I word this properly. I don't want to mess up nothing on YouTube. But it's ironic because in the world, like when you hear it in songs and music videos, and even in those videos, it is always some form of debauchery, threesomes, or girl on girl. All of these things fall under fornication, and it's called pornos. The Greek word is pornos.
It's definitely fornicating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At the utmost level, to the utmost level. Now, go to 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 5.
1 Corinthians 5 and verse 5. To deliver such and one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord.
I'm sorry. Not Corinthians, Ephesians. Salakia.
Okay.
My bad. Ephesians 5 and 5. I'm sorry. Watch this.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
For this ye know that no whoremonger.
No what?
No whoremonger.
No whoremonger. Read.
Nor unclean person. Nor covetous man who is an idolater hath an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ.
You do not get to see the kingdom if you're a whoremonger. Can you guess what that word is in Greek? Pornos. A fornicator, a whoremonger, somebody who conducts himself in unlawful sexual acts. So then people, when you be hearing them rappers talk about, like, my girl got a girlfriend, nigga, that's a sin, punishable by death. You will not see the kingdom for that. The chicks that be making them songs, acting like being, swinging that way is okay. The people that be making the videos, these actors that be playing the part, all of that stuff is pornos. And America is the number one producer in fornication. You see it in commercials about burgers. They sexualizing the women. You see it in every movie. As much as everybody love Power, all them women in there is hoes. All of them. Few of them was married and they sleeping and tonguing it up and laying down with these men that's not theirs. That's fornication. And we push that especially in our movies, our culture, our communities. There's a reason for that. In the book of Judith chapter 5, it tells you, as long as we are in sin, they can hold us down. But that's what adultery is. Not to get too far off, that's what adultery is. A married woman sleeping with a man. Fornication is different. Adultery is a form of fornication, but fornication is an umbrella. Bestiality, uncleanness, exposing your nakedness to someone else, incest, adultery, pederasty. These are forms of fornication. Threesome, stuff like that. Yes.
There's a bunch of sexual immorality.
A bunch of sexual immorality. That's what fornication actually is. But adultery itself, thou shalt not commit adultery, was just a piece of the whole parameters of fornication. Real quick, let me read this question. It says, what about when Messiah said, by technicality, if it is conceived in thought, it's considered adultery? Wouldn't it be the same for the married women sexting with another man? Now, let's go to that scripture real quick, because a lot of people misconceive that. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew 5:27. Because this is what Christ was actually referring to and what he was saying. Because what you're talking about, brother, is actually the manifestation of what Christ was talking about. If the sister is actually texting and speaking inappropriately and things of that nature, it's already manifested, right? Watch this. Matthew 5.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Right.
But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
So this is, of course, talking about a married woman, because you can't commit adultery with a woman who's not married, right? So it's telling you, if an individual is just thinking sexually about a sister that's married, that's betrothed, he's committed adultery in his heart. Has he sinned? No. Technically, no. Why? Because he hasn't done anything. I'm pretty sure a number of us have thought about, man, you feel me? Man, I beat that. But you never did it. But the reason what Christ is saying here is you don't even want to put that seed and plant that seed in your mind, because now you've committed it in your mind. Though you haven't physically manifested it and done anything, it will manifest into something physical. Now, let me slide in her DMs. Man, let me shoot this text and shoot my shot. Let me see if I'm going to get anywhere. Or, like when you read about, for those who have read the history of Susanna, when you read the history of Susanna, it was two elders. And those two elders were burning with lust and desire for Susanna. It was all in their mind initially until they did what? But they acted on it. It manifested physically and they acted on it. So Christ is saying to make sure you don't have them issues, to make sure that you don't do that, because adultery in your heart, it can be, what is in your heart is what you will manifest, what you will do, what you will act out. So Christ is saying, I'm letting you know now. It's telling you don't perform the act, but on a more spiritual, higher level, I'm telling you don't even think about it, because then you're going to mess around and act on it. That was the whole purpose of why Christ said what he said. Because by technicality, you have not sinned. He said you committed adultery in your heart. What does that mean? You've laid in your mind, you've laid with her. You're visualizing it. You're feeling it. You're seeing it. That's wrong. But the sin actually comes in when when you physically try to move on it. Now it's been manifested, and now you physically transgressing that law. That's wicked. That's wrong. So that's what it's saying, because a lot of times people have thoughts, but it's up to you to check those thoughts. Brothers and sisters like, dang, she beautiful. Check that thought. Oh, she married. Or I don't know if she married, or whatever the case is, right? That happens. But it's for you to do your very best, as the scriptures say, bring every thought into the drawing a blank. the confinement, for lack of better words, of Christ. That's where all of your thoughts should be, in Christ, focusing on these things. Because the moment you allow something to overrun your mind, because you're always thinking about it, it's always running in your head. What's going to happen is you're going to eventually, like, I'm finna go try it, right? It's kind of like when you got an appetite for something, or you got a craving, and you keep thinking about that craving. You're like, you know what, I'm finna go get it. That's Christ is telling you, don't feed that craving. Don't do that. So that's what Matthew 5 is actually talking about, right? It's not right, but technically it's not a sin. But Christ is trying to hold you to the higher standard, spiritual standard, to tell you don't even put yourself in that position. And if you follow in Christ, you really after the Spirit, you shouldn't want to be in that position anyways. All praise to the Most High. Go ahead.
Remember you were talking about before about the divorce, where you were saying how a woman gets a divorce, she can't go get with another man.
Right.
You know, that'd be adultery, and it shows it right here when you
Read that. What is that? 5 and what?
232.
Matthew 5. Start at 31. Matthew 5 and 31. Read that.
It said, "It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement."
Hold it. It says who, but now that's not exactly what it says, but Christ is paraphrasing as he's talking to the people. Whoever's going to put away their wife, make sure they give a bill of divorcement. What does Christ say?
"But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery.
Read.
And whosoever shall marry her, that is divorcement, who divorced committeth adultery."
Now, here's the crazy part. It said except to be for fornication, not except to be for adultery. Pay attention to the wording. Christ said that way for a reason. He said, if you put away your wife except for fornication, not except, because here's the thing. What is adultery? A man laying with this married woman had to go lay with somebody. But it didn't say except for adultery. It said except for fornication. So that doesn't mean she went out and slept with somebody. She could have just been talking dirty to somebody. She could have been sending pictures to somebody, on FaceTime with somebody, flirting. That's the uncleanness that it's referring to. And if you do the research, there was actually a debate on this between the Jews in this time. And Christ sat on the side of, it was two main leaders at the time. One was Shammai, the other one was Hillel. One was more liberal, so to speak, and the other one was more strict to the Torah, right? I forget which side is which. You can go in and research Shammai versus Hillel on fornication or on uncleanness. But one side said, man, you can put your wife away if she burn your food. That's what they was teaching. You can put your wife away if she burn your food, if she talk to you a certain way, if you don't like the way she smell, you can put her away for anything. If you want to get another wife, you can put her away, which was dumb because the Jews believed in polygyny, but that's what one side taught, and the other side taught we're sticking tightly and we're sticking precisely to what that definition of the word means. That uncleanness references a nakedness or an uncleanness in immorality, right? So one side was liberal, saying you can put her away from anything. The other side was saying not unless she goes beside you in a particular way and degrades you in a particular way by degrading herself, by exposing herself. Christ came and cleaned it up and said, this is what we talking about. He said, except it be for fornication. That uncleanness is a form of fornication, but it wasn't adultery, because when you put her away and it wasn't for the fornication, now you've made her an adulteress. If Christ wanted it to specifically be for adultery, he would have said adultery, but he didn't, right? Now, a lot of people like to do this. Brothers make a mistake, you got to be forgiven. But David didn't die for it. David committed adultery. He didn't die. The law says you. Let's go to that real quick. 2 Samuel chapter 12. We're going to start at verse 7. I just want to touch on this because I've heard this argument before. And I know, and I've heard it more than once. I feel so bad because with everything that King David did, he did mess up. But with everything this man did, we really got people today that think that they are of the stature and the status of a King David. You ain't done half the work that man did. You ain't put in half the work of that man, but y'all like to run the king. Well, King David did. King David was beloved of the Most High God. And the scriptures say, aside from his, what did it say? Aside from the matter of Uriah the Hittite, he was a man after God's own heart. It says that in the Bible. Most of you niggas not. Let's be real. 2 Samuel chapter 12 and start at verse 7.
The book of 2 Samuel chapter 12 verse 7. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man, thus said the Lord, God of Israel.
So real quick, so Nathan had just given David a parable about one poor man who had a sheep and one rich man who had everything, and then took that one man's poor sheep. And David said, I'm about to kill this nigga. Where he at? Nathan looked him dead in his eyes and said, right here. You're that man. And now he's going to elaborate. Go ahead.
Start from the top.
Yep.
And Nathan said to David, thou art the man, thus said the Lord God of Israel. I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul.
Uh-huh.
And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wife unto thy bosom.
He said, I gave you all of Saul's wives when he died. I gave you this house. I gave you everything. Watch this. Read on.
And I gave you the house of Israel and of Judah.
And I gave you the nation. Read.
And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such things.
He said, man, if you wanted more wives, I would have gave it to you. You wanted more money, I would have gave it to you. You wanted a bigger kingdom, I'd have gave it to you. You had it all, David. Watch this. Read.
Wherefore thou hast despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight.
Why? I gave you everything and I would have gave you more. Why you hate me so much, David? Read.
Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken thy wife Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
So you slept with another man's wife, and then you killed him. Read on.
Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son.
In the sight of this son, right? So David didn't die, but David got judged harshly. But watch this. Read on.
For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
Read.
And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die.
The Most High told David, you not going to die in this instance. You not going to die, but read on.
Howbeit, because by the deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
It says, howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemy of the Lord to blaspheme. What does that mean? To blaspheme means to slander, to look at as nothing, to look at as foolish, right? Blaspheme is an outright damnable lie. You just put smut on my name, David, with what you did. He said, because you did that, the child that will be born, that child's going to die.
Sacrifice.
Exactly. David. So David, you didn't die, but somebody died for what you did.
Blood can only be defiled by the blood.
The blood, exactly. There's very particular sins somebody got to die for. The blood shall be on your head, but guess what? The Lord said, not yet, but your son gonna die. So a life was lost, and David was put through hell from that point on. So screaming, but what about David? You wouldn't have been able to endure the things that David endured, and you wasn't even the type of man or woman that King David was. So stop trying to use King David. Stop doing that, right? Now, here's a piece that a lot of people don't like. Well, my husband, we had a situation not too long ago where I heard something along these lines. My husband committed adultery, right? So I can leave. No, you can't. And I know that hurts. Oh, I know that hurts. Oh, I know that hurts. No, you can't. Because, yes, you are a wife. Go to Ecclesiastes 36. Ecclesiastes 36 and verse 24. According to the law, no, you can't. According to the scripts, no, you can't.
You said 36 and 8?
Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, 36.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I was talking about. 26. My bad. 26 and 24. I don't know what I was looking at. I'm tripping.
It's all good. All right. The book of Sirach, 24.
26 and 24.
26 and 24. I put 26 in there.
God, 26 and 24. Read that.
Con. A dishonest woman contempteth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband.
Read on.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will be feared of the Lord. Fear for the Lord.
Hold on, real quick. I'm tripping myself. Hold on. Oh, 36 and 24. My bad. Ecclesiastes 36. I don't know why I wrote 26. Yeah, I'm tripping. Ecclesiastes 36 and verse 24. Excuse me. Sirach 36 and 24. For y'all online, just erase that last one.
You said 36.
I did initially.
Because that's what I said.
I did initially. 36 and 24. I'm sorry. Sorry,
book of
guys.
Sirach, chapter 36, and verse 24.
Come on.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
Beginneth a what?
A possession.
One more time.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. And help like unto himself. And a pillar of rest.
It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. It is in a possession is your possession unless it is sold or unless you die and it's given to someone else. That's what a possession is.
Belongs to you.
So, yeah, your husband committed adultery. You stuck with him. Now, if you choose to separate, different story. But can you remarry? No. We got a lot of women out here that don't understand the law.
So what if she just take him on out the game? I'm just kind of bad.
That's between her and the Most High. Yeah. You can't say. I don't know if we can say that online. If a man dumps his wife, don't want nothing to do with her.
Take care of her financially, nothing like that.
Right.
Is she allowed to leave or no?
No. Again, she's allowed to separate.
So what's the difference?
What do you mean?
He in trouble too.
What's the difference? To separate means you don't have to be there, but you cannot remarry. You can separate, but you can't go and lay with somebody else. You don't have to, no. If you like, it's kind of like we had a conversation all the time. Like people have a misconception of what sometimes we be saying. Like if you're like in an abusive relationship, for example, you can separate, but you cannot remarry. People hear that and be like, so you're telling me I gotta just sit there and take getting beat? No, you can leave. You just can't lay with nobody else. Which is also why we press the issue of getting to know your spouse. Take your time and get to know your spouse. Because there's a lot of undiagnosed mental health cases walking around here, and you marry them because they know how to talk really well. And you marry them because they're a powerful teacher, but they got demons. That's why we push that, because when you end up in one of these situations, I say it all the time. God did not make these laws based off of your emotions, and they do not change based off of your emotions. God created these laws in alignment with his righteousness. There is a reason that when you lay down, you stay down. It prevents whoremongering. It prevents sleeping around. It prevents STDs, spiritually transmitted demons, sexually transmitted demons, and actual STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. It stops all of that. There's a reason why the Lord did that. Single parent households wouldn't be a thing if people adhere to the laws of God. Women would not open their legs to just anybody because they know if I lay with them, I'm stuck with them. Men would not just be giving it, be laying down with all of these women because they'd be like, man, I got to take care of her. God made these laws for a reason. What Moses said, for the hardness of your heart were you able to even begin divorcing. What does that mean? Because y'all niggas was being wicked. Y'all was doing wrong. She ain't a pure virgin. She ain't pure. He saw her. She talked dirty to him. It wasn't supposed to be like that, but since y'all wanted to be wicked, I had to put that in. That's what it was saying. But as it stands, can a woman divorce and remarry if her husband commits adultery? No. When David did what he did, guess what? His wives were still his wives. As a matter of fact, as you continue to read, in Absalom, his son was chasing to try to kill him. Absalom laid down with David's wives to say, I'm the man. I'm finna put a tent up on top of the king's house, and I'm finna lay with these women, it wasn't just one, with these women in front of all of Jerusalem. And it said it was David's wives that he did it to. Now, Absalom came after David committed that adultery. Or, the story of Absalom and him chasing his daddy and stuff came after the adultery situation. But it still showed these women were still his wives. They are still his possession. Scriptures say you are bound together until you die. That's Romans chapter 7. But an individual who decides that they want to have itching ears, as I always open up with those scriptures, they'll say, that's not what it's saying. Lord help you. Because that is what it's saying. So that is adultery in a nutshell. A big nutshell. Let's go back to Exodus.
We got the AC on. Turn the AC up. He was the one complaining about being hot.
God. Yeah, I'm going to have to hit the bell because if it's not open, one of them will have to. Ain't no way. Exodus. No, it is, though. Exodus chapter 20. Let's read verse 15. Exodus 20 and verse. I'm bugging. Where's Exodus? Exodus 20 and verse 15.
That was
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Exodus 20, verse 15. Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not steal. Sounds fairly simple, right? Let's go to Exodus 22. Let's start at verse 1.
Book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox.
So this is a form of stealing, right? Read on. So stealing actually, running up somewhere, swiping something that don't belong to you and utilizing it or whatever the case is, that's stealing, right? Read on.
And 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him.
This is called burglary. Somebody breaks into your house and try to steal your stuff. That's burglarizing. So a person that steals, a person that breaks into your house and burglarizes. Now, the judgment for that is if you get caught lacking and you in the house and I don't know what you're here for and I don't know you and you look like a criminal and you get hit with this 9 this 17 hit you with 12 rounds, I don't know what to tell you. Scriptures say I'm good because I didn't know what you was there for. You could have been coming to do damage to me. I didn't know you was stealing. It says no blood shall be shed if that person ends up smitten and put to death. So that's one of the judgments in this particular situation. The other one is if you steal someone's animal or possession and they find out it was you owe twice. You shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If you're dealing with animals and you steal their livestock and they find out, you got to return either 5 times as much or 4 times as much, right? Read on.
If a
Verse.
thief be found breaking, okay, we read.
Yeah, go ahead.
If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. For he shall make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft.
So now, remember, the first part was about oxen, the animals. If somebody steal your dog, he owe you 5 dogs, or at least owe you the finances to be able to purchase, 5 dogs, right? Now, this is talking about somebody breaking your house and steal your stuff. Like somebody come to my house, break in my house, and steal my TV. It says you shall make full restitution. You need to make that right. And it says now, if he ain't got it, then he needs to be sold. That doesn't literally mean human trafficking.
You gotta work it out.
Is exactly. You are now my servant until you pay back what's owed. Until you've given me back what is owed, you are my servant from that point on. However long it take. I hope you didn't take a whole lot and sell it. Read on.
If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double.
Now, if he stole whatever he stole out of your house, and he get caught with it, like nigga, that's my phone. That's my TV. I know that's my TV. It got the chip on the top right corner. I know that's mine. I know that's my laptop. It says now you gotta restore. Now you gotta restore double. If it get caught in your hands, you gotta restore double. If I find out it was you that stole it, but you ain't got it, man, I sold it, bro. I don't know where it went. First, you get packed out. Nah, I'm playing. You may feel like you want to do that, but there's laws on that, but we won't get into that because I don't want to. I'll be quiet. I'm gonna leave that. Hey, look, there's laws on that. I'm not gonna touch on those. Maybe we'll get to those on another time.
Ain't no camps. We were doing the old laws around there.
Right.
Line them up, brothers. Getting beat
Line-
down.
Line them up. That's actually a really good question online. It says, what if you steal from the store? Now, depending on who you talk to, right? Let's say you take something from big business, and big business has been overtaxing you, and the government has been making it hard for you to make a living, and so you decide, I know I can go into the store and grab these things. What I'll say is the laws of stealing pertain to not stealing from your brother. The laws of stealing pertain to if you steal from one of your own and one of your brethren.
That's the same thing with lying too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So do with that what you will, according to the law. If somebody steals from you, from your brethren, because remember the laws were supposed to treat one another according to the law. Now, remember, there are laws of the land in place. So if you end up in a situation,
You gotta do your time.
there's sin and there's wisdom. That's what I'll say. There's sin and there's wisdom. But according to the Torah, and what it's saying is, remember, all of these laws are for our people to be able to live as one harmonious nation. So it's talking about how you do and deal with your own, right? So Walmart, Target, Sprouts, Best Buy.
Just don't get caught.
Listen. You can't say Amatazar said it. You can never say.
You want me to say that?
Listen, you can't never say that I told you you could. I'm just telling you, according to the laws of God, it's talking about not stealing from your brothers and making sure you're doing right by people, right? That's
whoever
That's
online,
what it says.
Whoever online, man, make sure you get with a good camp, man, so you ain't got to be out there like that.
So
man,
you gotta be so they can look out for you, right?
Exactly.
Right. So that's the law. That's the law on stealing in that particular regard to the question that you guys are asking, right? How to deal harmoniously with your brothers. That's what it's talking about. So let's stay here. We stopped at verse 4, right? I think that's it for stealing. Yeah, then it goes into things that you borrowed. Okay, let's go to Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20. And let's read verse 13. Leviticus 20 and 13.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 13.
Oh, wait.
I think we already read that.
Yeah, it is in 20, though. Hold on. I don't know. I got these precepts all over the place. I'm bugging. Let me do this. Right. No, not that one. Oh, I'm tripping. I'm in the wrong area. Leviticus 19. I don't know how I did that. Leviticus 19. And 13.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall be abide with thee all night.
Salakia. Read it verse 11. Verse 11.
19 and Leviticus 19 and verse 11. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
Now, this is going to actually roll into the next commandment, but it says, don't steal or deal falsely, neither lie one to another. So you don't deal falsely with one another. What does that mean? Even doing what's called a false balance, right? You used to have people that would, and you have it today, where people lie about like the purity of things to upcharge. That's stealing. You stealing from your own. Or you actually upcharge and say, well, it's worth this much, or it costs me this much, so you're paying for this, this, and this, and that's not really the case. You just pocketing more money. Or even usury. Usury to your own nation that's out. That's stealing. You're taking extra from your people. Predatory loans and things like that. That's stealing. You're taking advantage of your people. That falls under the same category. So it tells you don't deal falsely with one another. Don't deal unrighteously with one another. And also don't steal. But watch this. Read verse 12.
Verse 12.
I'm sorry, verse 13.
Verse 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
That's a form of stealing too. If you got it to pay, pay it. Yeah. If you owe them, give it. Because it said, watch this. It said, don't defraud your neighbor. That's the first thing, right? Don't defraud one another. Don't defraud your neighbor. Don't play them like you ain't got it. Don't withhold what you owe them. Don't lie to them and say you're gonna pay them or do something for them and then you end up not paying them for it, right? That's defrauding. Then it goes on to say, neither rob him. Well, it's not literally I'm holding you a sword or knife point telling you to run me your money. No, it clears it up. He's saying whatever you owe, you better pay him that day. It says, the wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Because according to the law, we used to get paid at the end of the day. We would work the whole day and get paid by the time the sun was setting. But if you choose not to do that, you're defrauding, you're stealing from your brother. That is a form of stealing. Watch this. Exodus 21. Go to Exodus 21. And verse 16. Exodus 21 and verse 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth
A
him,
man that he that do what?
he that stealeth a man
Thou shalt not steal.
and selleth him,
What's that called?
slavery.
Yeah, that's one word. Trafficking. Human trafficking. You stealing a man. That counts as stealing. Thou shalt not steal. Human trafficking. There's a different penalty for this. Stealing certain animals 4 times, 5 times you owe. Breaking in my house and taking my stuff, you owe me double. Or if you already got it off and I come and find out it was you, now you got to work it off if you ain't able to make full well by it. Stealing a person, kidnapping, trafficking holds a costlier penalty. Read.
Or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
You shall surely be put. You human trafficking, kidnapping, all of that stuff that the dirty diddler been doing, all the stuff that Epstein did, all of them. Most High said they will be out of here. They will be done. That is a sin punishable by capital punishment.
You see the one lady said that they had the kids on the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody in there would have been out of there. Every single one of them. Because all of you guys participated in it. Let's go back to Exodus 20.
Exodus 20.
Let's read verse 16. We almost done, guys.
Exodus 20 and 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Thou shalt not bear false witness. What does it mean to bear false witness?
Lying.
Tell a damn lie. Slander. Ruining someone's reputation. Tale-bearing. Absolutely. Now this is...
He did it. I seen it all.
I seen it all.
You wasn't even there.
I seen it all. Now watch this. It's a little more in depth than that. It's just a little more in depth with that. Watch this. Let's go to Leviticus 19. Let's read 15 and 16. Remember what I said earlier, or last week. There's the 10 commandments, and those commandments are umbrellas to the remainder of all the other laws. So thou shalt not steal, we see there's a bunch of different ways to steal. Thou shalt not kill, we see that's referencing a very specific thing because you can kill. It's just what you're talking about. And then we see also that hatred is a form of you're looked at as a murderer as well.
And we know in the scripture we're commanded to kill.
If we're needed, yeah, exactly. It's judgment. When the scriptures talk about no idolatry, we saw that there was a lot to that. Love the Lord with all your heart, no other gods before me. There was a lot to that, right? So the 10 commandments are the umbrella, and then there's things that fall under it. So now, thou shalt not bear false witness. Don't lie, right? Leviticus 19, let's start at verse 15.
You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
You do what?
No unrighteousness in judgment.
There shall be no unrighteousness in judgment. Read.
Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shall thou judge thy neighbor.
You shall hear out a whole matter, and you shall deal with that situation righteously. Now, if you don't deal with it righteously and you don't judge it properly, that literally is you bearing false witness. An individual that gets punished for something they didn't do, or they get judged for something that didn't happen or they didn't do, you have now committed, or you have now, been an accomplice in someone being lied on and being punished for it. Sowing discord is a little, well, it can be. Not always. Because you can sow discord without talebearing. There's other ways that you can do that for sure. Verse 16, read on.
Verse 16, thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord.
Read that again, please.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord.
Neither shall you actually, hold on, let's deal with talebearer first. Talebearer. Rakil. A scandal mongerer. I like that. A scandal mongerer. I actually never, I mean, because you know what talebearer means. I've never looked at the actual Hebrew of this word. Rakil or Rakayal. A scandal mongerer as traveling about. A slanderer. Someone who carries tales. A talebearer.
It's basically like a gossiper.
It's a gossiper, but this is a different type of gossiper. This one's going everywhere telling business.
Yeah, that's how gossip people, like, man, right now, like, you know, man.
He felt that.
Yeah, one person can put a lot of work in, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A scandal mongerer. This ain't just little lies, man. I'm about to concoct a whole novel. Yes.
I know y'all be having some scandal bearers calling y'all from time to time, trying to get you pumped
Oh,
up.
absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely that happens. So it says, ye shall not go up and down as a talebearer. Somebody who's out here stirring up drama, chasing drama, looking for the drama to go give it to other people. You can't do that. Right? Now, a talebearer is also a person who is a liar. It says they carry tales. What is a tale? A story. I'm telling lies. I'm telling stories. Then it said, now this is the important one, because a lot of people don't realize, nigga, this is thou shalt not bear false witness. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. What does that say?
Like, man, when I'm finna put working on this food, don't you be trying to save me?
Nope. Nope. It's not even that.
For their blood now,
Not even that.
nah, it would have been.
Thou shalt not stand. Excuse me. Neither shalt thou stand, which is thou shalt not stand against the blood of thy neighbor. If your neighbor is in a situation being judged unrighteously, and you stand there and you just let it rock, and you know that that's not the case, you're allowing this judgment to go forth. You've lied by omission. You've bore false witness you allow people to believe that tale, that issue, that situation was true when you knew that you shouldn't have done that. You should not stand against the blood, stand against the judgment of your neighbor when you know, because remember, verse 15 was talking about unrighteous judgment. You need to make sure you're judging things right. You can't be partial. You can't have respect of persons. You can't do that standing on the side too. You can't know that something wrong has happened and a person is being made to look like they're crazy or they're lying so that people can discredit them. And you know that they're telling the truth and you just standing there watching them get crucified. You have now made yourself part of the lie. You lied by omission. By omission, by not saying nothing. You left out the truth when you knew the truth. The fact that you didn't say nothing, you didn't speak up, you didn't try to help it. You stood against the blood of your brother while they were all judging this person. You just like,
Right, before we take this brother head off, anybody got something
anybody
to say?
got something to say?
Yeah, you don't say nothing. I could have said something, but nah.
You bore false witness by not saying anything at all. You just lied. Because did you have anything to say? Yes. Why didn't you? That counts as thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not lie.
Thou shalt not be a buster.
But yeah, basically. But it's crazy because a lot of people do this in Israel today. And I'm like, see, this shows me that people don't know the commandments. Certain things you shouldn't allow to rock. I done seen it happen. I'm like, bro, we serious right now? I done sat there and listened to brothers talking wild, and I'm like, yo, that's not exactly accurate. That's not true. We gotta talk about this too. We gotta talk about that too. We gotta talk about the dealings of the Israelite brothers or the leaders or sisters or whoever in these situations too, because now you're just making it seem like these people are the problem. No, that's unrighteous judgment. You got to deal with these too. You can't just allow someone to go on and paint a picture and frame something and you just be okay with it. That's lying by omission. Tale bearing by omission. And a lot of people in Israel do that. They're more scared of men than the Most High. It's crazy. So, thou shalt not bear false witness. Busters. Exodus 23. Exodus chapter 23. Let's read verse 1.
Book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 1.
I can't hear you.
Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness.
Ooh. That's called tale-bearing too. Don't raise a false report. You got a lot of people that be out here. There was a sister not too long ago that framed herself to be the most, I'm not perfect, but, I'm righteous. And oh, my ex-husband is just the devil the Bible speaks of. And I'm not perfect, but, I'm perfect. And I'm just trying to do right by the Most High. And, we don't know what's really going on. We don't know. And then there's other people that helped him to do such evil things. I was such an amazing mom. And we know. And you're raising a false report on another individual, your husband, painting this picture, framing it a certain way. So you can look this way and so he can be crucified for this. That's raising a false report. Now, for those that knew the truth or know better in situations, if they know better and they just let it happen, or they jump to the side that they know is wrong and say, yeah, I saw it. I'll give you an example. It was a situation not too long ago with myself. A brother said, yeah, Darash called me whoop-de-whoop. And I said, I did? So somebody else, I didn't even know I had no clue. It was a song that was put out. There was a bar that was in there, and I said, who said whoop-de-whoop? I said, oh, maybe it was one of my brothers. I'm not putting no names in it. One of my brothers. One of my brothers said, yeah, that was me because I said blah, 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 and he probably took it to heart. And I said, see, okay, that makes sense. Then come to find out by another brother, oh, it was Darash. Then people are feeling away because, we also made a song. It was a banger, by the way. But but it offended some people. And, people reached out and people I was talking to, and they was like, yeah, the brother said you said whoop-de-whoop about him. And I said, did I? When? Oh, you said it at this time. I'm like, let me go back and look on this timeline. Where is it? Oh, it was in a comment on a video. Oh, okay. Where's the video? Or where's the comment? Because I heard it was screenshot. No, the brother misspoke. He don't have it. Okay, well, where's the video? Oh, the video got scrubbed. Where's my comment? Oh, that got scrubbed. No, I'm sorry. Where's my comment? Oh, it got scrubbed. Then it was, oh, the video got scrubbed. Then I was like, okay. But there were 2 witnesses that said that they saw that you said it. With no receipts. And it was the craziest part to me is these particular brothers know that if ever I say something, I stand on it. If I said it, I'll tell you, yeah, I said it, and here's why. But this particular time, brothers felt like, I guess I was lying. I don't know. But it blew my mind because one person said, this brother called me this. 2 other people came out and stood on his side. And I'm like, now one thing I remember is if I called you a name because I probably meant it from the heart. If I said it, I meant it. And I'm not going to forget that I said it. Then I asked, well, what exactly were my words? You probably didn't see it, but can you ask them what it was that I said? Then they told him what I said. And I said, bro, that ain't even my jargon. I don't even talk like that. So I know that wasn't me. Oh, hold on. I misspoke. I was just paraphrasing. Wait, real quick. I said no because I asked you verbatim. I put it in quotes. Verbatim, what was it that I said? You said that. And then when I said something, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Then the same individual stood on their side too. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. What is going on here? Read Exodus 23:1 again. With the mic, please. With the microphone.
Yes, sir. Of course. You passed the test, sir.
You see that?
Yeah. You see, the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 1.
Read that.
Thou shalt not raise a false report.
That's what a false report is. You just made up a whole story or a situation as to why you did something, or just to try to get somebody excommunicated or killed or imprisoned or whatever the judgment would be. You made a whole false story, false report up. Read.
Put not thy hand with the wicked to be unrighteous, a righteous witness.
And then you got people who are false witnesses. You are actually, like, people don't even realize sometimes the things that they do is against the law. Like, dang, that is what a false witness is. A brother or a sister told a story. I wasn't there to witness it, but I'm going to regurgitate it, or I'm going to say I was there and I bore witness. There's a lot of that in Israel. A lot of that. That is sin. That is transgression of the law. That counts as bearing false witness, raising up a false report and standing as a false witness when somebody is making a false report. It's bearing false witness. Well, duh, Darash, it says it right there. Well, clearly a lot of people don't know it because it's going on. So we got to reiterate these laws to give people an understanding and a foundation. Proverbs 10. We almost done. Proverbs 10 and 18.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 18. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool.
So a person who pretends that they love you and they hide their hatred with, kind words, and they play the part, they're a fool. And then also a slanderer is a fool. And we know how the Lord feels about fools, right? Stay in Proverbs. Go to chapter 6, read verse 19, please. Actually, read 16 and then drop down to 19.
It's Proverbs 6 and verse 16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate.
I just needed that part. These are all the things the Lord hates. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. A false witness that speaketh lies.
A what?
A false witness that speaketh lies.
People don't understand. The Lord hates that. And if you're a person who does that and you're habitual with it,
He said he only hate the sin.
he hate the sinner too.
Yeah.
The book of Ecclesiasticus tells you that. I think it's 12 and 7. It says, for the Most High hates sinners.
That ain't what the church said.
Yeah, I don't care what the church said.
Okay, my bad.
God hates the church too because they lying on God. They hate the sinner.
According to the word.
Exactly.
What you said.
So,
good doctrine.
That good doctrine. That sound doctrine. Exactly. The scriptures tell you how the Lord feels about somebody who sows discord. The scriptures tell you about a person that is a slanderer, that is a liar, that is a false witness. The Lord hates that. That is sin. That is wicked. Like wicked. People just look at it like, oh, well, it wasn't that big of a deal. It is. We be sinning and we be minimizing it in our minds. The Lord is watching. The Lord is watching. So thou shalt not bear false witness. Let's go back to Exodus 20. I hope we're getting some understanding of these 10 commandments. I'm hoping. This is our last little batch. And this one's actually going to be pretty quick. Exodus 20. And let's read verse 17.
Book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 17.
Read.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people, you want me to continue on?
Oh, that was the end of the actual commandment?
Yeah, that was
Con. Thou shalt not covet. Now, a lot of people get this misconstrued, right? Thou shalt not covet. No, it's not what it says. Thou shalt not covet the things that pertain to someone else. That's what it says, right? Because here's the thing. Who knows what covet means?
It's basically desiring it, wanting it. You know what I'm saying, for yourself.
Say it again.
You know what I'm saying? Desiring it, wanting it for yourself.
Desiring. To lust after. To delight in. So when it says thou shalt not, read that from the top. Exodus 20 and 17, excuse me.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
You shall not covet your neighbor's. This belongs to your neighbor. You shouldn't be desiring your neighbor's house. I want that house. That's one. Read.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
That's adultery in your heart. I want that woman. I know it's his, but I want that woman. Now, why is it telling you don't desire anything that is your neighbor's? Because if your heart and your mind is on something that is theirs, what did we talk about earlier? It starts off here, but then what? Then it manifests. So be grateful for the things that you have. Admire the things that your neighbor has, but don't covet it. Don't desire it.
But then we are also supposed to covet the best gift.
Oh, we're going to get that. We'll get that. We'll get that. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go there. Go to 1 Corinthians. No, you good. Go to 1 Corinthians. Because now, in context, well, technically, that's your neighbor's gifts. There's a reason why it was worded this way. So, to the point of, as he's getting that, to covet, H2530, chamad. To desire, to covet, to take pleasure in, to delight in, to desire, to be desirable, to delight greatly, to desire greatly, desirableness. I didn't even know that was a word. Desirableness. That sounds weird. Preciousness. Beauty, greatly beloved, coveted, a delectable thing, to delight, to desire, to lust, to be pleasant, to be a pleasant thing or a precious thing. So in context, to desire or to lust after something that is your neighbor's. Now, this is a great point that the brother was bringing out that we were actually about to hit right next, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and 31. Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 31. But covet earnestly the best gifts.
But covet earnestly the best gifts. Covet strongly, vehemently. Covet, what's the word?
Righteousness.
It is in righteousness. But what it's telling you is that's what you, if you want to covet something, don't just covet it just a little bit. Like really strongly desire these gifts that your brothers and your sisters have. Why does it say that? Because you can't physically steal that. You can't, man, that brother is a great speaker. How do I become an orator like him? Now you got to go wear out his doorsteps to learn it. That brother got a charitable heart. That is a great gift. I want that. Not for my own, so not so people can just come to me, but like that he sincerely looks happy. The people sincerely love him. I feel like the Lord is really pleased with what he's doing. Man, that brother over there is an amazing teacher. That brother over there, his humility is off the charts. Covet those gifts earnestly. Covet those gifts with passionately, with everything in you. Because you can't just go over there and take that. That's not something that, to covet the gifts of a person is more so of a selfless thing. Like, how do I obtain these gifts so I can be of help? That's the whole point Paul was making.
It's just a form of admiration, too. Is, you see some good qualities in somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Right. It's a form of admiring.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, you can't just up and take that. You feel me? You can't just up and, you can up and take somebody's wife. We done seen it in the world. You can up and plot it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You can plot and get somebody's name off the deed and take somebody's house. You can poach and swipe somebody's servants, employees. You're not supposed to do that. But if you covet and earnestly somebody's gifts, that's a different ball game, right? And again, we see the manifestation of what coveting looks like. King David with Bathsheba. A perfect example of why you're not supposed to covet. Because again, it starts off in your heart, it starts off in your mind, manifests physically, and then it turns into actual sin. Susanna, them elders, they coveted her. What happened? They tried to rape her. Not only did they try to rape her, they said, lie with us. They tried to run a whole Thomas on her. They was wilding. All because of their desire, their lust, and their coveting. For those, how many of you guys have read the story of Amnon? Yeah, he said, lay with us or we're going to tell somebody, we're going to tell everybody we saw you laying with another young man.
She was like, hell no.
And she said, you know what? It is what it is. What it is. Do what you got to do. How many of you guys read the story of Amnon?
You gotta bring it to my attention. I don't know.
Y'all go read that story of Amnon. Amnon was one of King David's sons. Amnon had a half-sister. Amnon's half-sister, I believe her name was Tamar, I believe. I got to go back and look, but I believe her name was Tamar. Amnon was David's son from one mother. Tamar was the daughter from another mother.
He slept with her.
He raped her.
But they ain't supposed to mess with each other, period.
They not, but what happened? He was sickly in love and sickly coveting his sister.
Yeah, he was tripping.
And committed incest. Forced himself on her because she was begging him not to do it. Forced himself on her and then kicked her out. All because of his lust, his desire, his coveting. Coveting can be an amazing thing, but coveting for the most part, for most people, is a terrible thing because most people covet due to their ungratefulness. Most people covet due to them not being thankful for what already is in their possession. That's something that we have to always remember, to be grateful. If you're grateful for everything you have, you won't have anything to covet because it's like, I don't desire what you have because the Lord blessed me with what I have, right? So, thou shalt not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. That's what it's specifically talking about. So, those are the 10 commandments. This was part 2. I know we sat on adultery for a minute. I actually didn't plan on that. Just kind of happened. We stood on bearing false witness for a little minute too. But I pray that there was an in-depth understanding. I pray that it was thorough enough for you to fully understand the 10 commandments. Real quick, you already know what it is. Every first Monday, we got Bible Q&A. Every Monday after that, we have our Spanish class, Los Discípulos de la Palabra, with our Apostle Ash and our brother Malachi. Tuesday is Bible Basics. You already know. Wednesday is World History According to the Bible. Second and fourth Thursday is Stick to the Script. Every Friday, we got the lineup with Yashimai at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern with the Blue Strip. After that is Room 144 with either one of the bishops or the Apostle Ash. That is at 7:30 p.m., 10:30 Eastern. And then my class is after that. Sound Doctrine with myself and my brother Amataza. 9:45 Pacific, 12:45 Eastern. I appreciate all of y'all who have been on. We actually got a decent amount of people on for it to be this late. So shout out to y'all getting this true understanding for the Torah. If you got any questions that you want answered, if you have any inquiries about the body or the congregation, feel free to send us a message or an email at reply@truenation.org. That is reply@truenation.org. If you want to get boots on the ground out in your state, if you're ready to do the works, reply@truenation.org. If you want to help contribute to the ministry so we can continue to go out and save souls and build the people up so we can continue to do these works, truenation.org/donate, /donate. I think it's /donate. Definitely feel free to contribute to the ministry because this truth needs your contribution so we can continue to do the works. If you read in the book of Acts chapter 4 and Acts chapter 2, I believe, it goes into the importance of the people that truly believed in the ministry giving their alms to make sure that the brothers can go out and do the works. So continue to tap in with us. Any questions, reply@truenation.org. I want to say, I think that's it. Oh, For those of you guys who are keeping Hanukkah, it is coming up. Not this Tuesday. Feast of Dedication is I'm sorry. It's a Monday night. November 20. Let me double check. I want to give y'all the exact date. The Feast of Dedication starts November 26th at even. Tuesday night at evening. Not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. It is an 8-day feast. Tuesday night to Wednesday night will be a Sabbath, the 26th to the 27th, as well as December 2nd to December 3rd will be a Sabbath. We have the calendar on our website as well. Go to truenation.org, hit Holy Days calendar 2024 through 2025. You can get the whole calendar that we have. I believe that's it. Just got to make sure that I'm doing my whole rundown. Y'all continue to share, like, and subscribe to the channel, to the YouTube channel, and continue to share the content because, again, we do this for you guys, and we're trying to make sure that we're getting this word out so we can ultimately save these souls, give this daily bread so people can start to obey the Most High God so we can get about this hellhole. We trying to put our brick in. Y'all put y'all brick in by sharing the video. Y'all put y'all brick in by giving it a like so it can get into the YouTube's algorithm. We love y'all, Israel. I just realized it ain't nobody back there, huh? Let me get up and go do that. I could have been doing my spill while I was walking to the back. Anywho, we love y'all, Israel. Lord willing, we see y'all tomorrow. Oh, Saturday's class, War for the Kingdom with Bishop Yazequel. That's at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And room 144. Feed the Sheep with Bishop Tazayawan. That is at 4:30 p.m. Pacific and 7:30 Eastern. With that being said, we love y'all, Israel. Y'all have a beautiful Shabbat. We hope to catch y'all tomorrow. This has been another segment of Sound Doctrine with myself and my brother Amatazah. Shalom.